It's the risk.
It's just a risk. That's the reality of the situation. They couldn't understand, and it's not.
Alright guys, this is Jide. I met him through Freddie, if you guys remember, that was the military video. So you want to just introduce yourself, maybe a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Like I said, my name is Jide Osipitan. So in terms of from the professional side, obviously I'm in the military. That's my full-time job. I've been in over 10 years now, coming up on 11 actually, 11 in January. But I've always been an entrepreneur. I've been at it for 9+ years now, 2010. Yeah, well, going on 9 years. I've considered myself an entrepreneur for 9 years. Now I started my first company, My Trade Square LLC. It's actually designed. The idea behind that was to have like a social platform where people can. It's kind of like a ad sharing, so to say, but with products. So if I wanted to sell something, I can look for somebody within my demographic. Whether if I go to Albany, I graduated from Albany. But when I was in Albany, I wanted to sell a phone, for example. The people who can have access to that product are people from that geographic location. Just because I was trying to consider safety and things like that. But that was, again, 9 years ago. So ever since then, I've always been a gamer. I've kind of graduated into gaming. I've always wanted to be a professional gamer. That really didn't work out. I had a family, kids, wife. Decided to shift focus to a business platform. So that's what I've been working on for the last 5 years now, essentially.
Okay. You want to show your t-shirt a little bit?
Yeah, so it's Gaming Insomniacs, be a true gamer. That's kind of like a slogan. Like I said, we created the company itself. So initially we're Eliteverse. That's when we had a gaming lounge in Amsterdam, New York. And the lounge was just designed to have a place for gamers to actually come in and kind of, be in the same environment with the same people who enjoy the same exact thing that you do. So we had that. That was initially called Eliteverse. And then throughout the course of that, the lifespan for that organization, we became Gaming Insomniacs. So our mission kind of changed a little bit. We started to focus more on esports rather than just a lounge.
Yeah. So they've been getting some big news, and you guys are a startup, started this idea. How did you want to tell us how the idea came about?
So that, like I said, it came from me, from Eliteverse, right? So we had a success and we had a failures. So the idea of Gaming Insomniacs actually came from the frustration and the failure, technically, of Eliteverse. Mm-hmm. Pretty much, it's kind of like a phoenix, right? So Eliteverse pretty much needed to die to give birth to transform into Gaming Insomniacs. So that's how it came about. We went from the lounge, we started to do tournaments. From the tournaments, we decided, rather than doing online tournaments, because we had a lot of issues, people complaining about lag and all these other things that came about. So we decided, well, why not have something whereby we can actually have a location where we can actually compete. Now, a lot of people in the industry, they do things where they travel, right? So they promote kind of like boxing, for example. So it's like, all right, we're gonna have this tournament on say August 24th. Just throwing dates out there, 2019. So for the next 7-8 months, we're gonna market the hell out of it. Get the word out there, promote it. On the day of the event, we have the event. We hope to make some money, and then after the event, everybody kind of backs up. We'll see you guys next year. So a lot of people in the industry are doing that, but people are starting to realize, well, why just do tournaments when we can have a league? Let's start looking at what traditional sport is doing. The success that traditional sport has been able to show in the last 50, 60 years. Why can't we take that and use that as a platform for esports?
Is this like your vision, or is this something that?
So that's been my vision. That's been my vision. But what really pushed me over the edge to actually go from idea to actual, putting this into motion was Overwatch. So Blizzard Entertainment. Overwatch started the Overwatch League. They had the arena, Blizzard Arena down in California and whatnot. But not just that, they also have obviously they have other games and all the platforms that they actually compete with. But it was after pretty much what they did when they started to make the news back in 2016. They were trying to raise money. I think it was right now it's like $20 million to buy. I might be wrong. It could have changed, but as of a few months ago, it was $20 million to buy into the league. And I looked at what they were doing. It's like that makes sense. It makes sense. That's the route I'd rather go. Now, we're still gonna have tournaments, but it's gonna be within the league. It's gonna be within Gaming Insomniacs. So you're not gonna have another organization coming in to say, hey, can we get in? Like, no, the team that we have established, that organic growth that we're looking for, those are the teams that are gonna be part of the not just the league, but the tournament as well.
That's crazy to hear about because you kind of introduced me to this idea back in 2016.
Yes.
And this whole gaming industry is like so new. A lot of people don't know how to capture the market, of this industry. And I think this is one of the first movers, especially in this area. And there's some big things to come.
Right.
But you want to share your experience as an entrepreneur, maybe people that are watching, the advice, like maybe the hardships that you went through.
What's the going through a hardship? I mean, that's so we're startup. From past experience, I've been in situations where there've been a lot of ups and downs, right? The one thing I can say I've always pride myself in is the ability to adapt, right? When I believe in something, and it's like, so Jeff, who owns Urban Course, who was one of the guys, is essentially one of our mentors. He said something. He goes, when you start, so when you have a dream for a business, right? You have a dream for a business. It's called A. So let's just for sake of simplicity, let's call it A. So you have A. You think about A, you dream about A, you decide to move forward with A. Whether you realize it or not, but from the time you go from a dream to actually starting to put things in place to actually launch that business, A would have adapted to B, right? It would have changed. There would have been things that would have changed a little bit. From the time you go to actual launching and running the business, B would have changed to C. And then 20 years down the road, you're going to look back and realize when you start with A, it's not what you have now. Like, yes, there's still going to be elements of A in there, but now you're at Z or you're at, whatever. So my knowledge is probably terrible, but that's you.
But that's from probably like customer feedback.
Yes,
and
exactly.
what the market wants.
Right,
So
you're going to adapt. Your business
Exactly.
is going to have to adapt. You have to. You don't have a choice. You look at businesses like Radio Shack,
Blockbuster.
those companies, they needed to evolve, and because they failed to, you're going to be left behind. That's just how it works. But it's the same thing with startup. You have to be able to adapt rapidly as you start because things are going to change. The assumptions that you've made in the very beginning, reality is going to set in, and you're going to realize those assumptions are no longer true. So now you have to adapt to the new reality. So if you're not able to do that, you're going to fall apart very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly. I can tell you in the last 2 months already, some ideology that we had has already changed.
So what are you looking for now? You're still in the very
Still in the very beginning.
sensitive stage right now.
Yes.
What is it that you're looking for? Maybe some audience people can start helping.
So it depends on what you're talking about. So if you're talking from a business perspective, we'd like to bring in an investor or two. All right. So again, like I said, in the last 2 months, and so these are some of the problems that companies that are starting out, they make sometimes. So there's the fear of not growing fast enough, and there's also the fear of growing too fast. And I'm starting to, I think to some degree, we kind of fall into that category of growing too fast. All right. So in the last 2 months ago, where we were at was very different from where we are today. So the idea is to be able to keep up with that growth. We need to get the resources that we need. Now, initially, again, going back to the conversation of when you start out, the assumptions that you make would change over time. The assumption that where we are right now would have taken us to probably we're not looking until May of next year for us to be in the position we're in right now. May, June, maybe over the summer. But all of a sudden, 2 months later, it's kind of like a milestone. So we have milestones that were set in our business plan. So the idea is where we are right now wasn't going to be till May, June, July of next year, and I'm seeing it right now. And that's exactly where we are. So we don't have the resources we don't have the sufficient amount of resources to maintain the level where we are at. That's why we're looking to hopefully bring an investor in, as well as growing our team. Because right now we have a team of 5 individuals. We'd like to grow that to roughly about 20 in the next month. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's because the market speaks, though, right?
Exactly.
And
exactly.
The demand is a lot bigger than
we expected. Right.
Yes.
So we're forced to grow, and we're gonna have to do that to stay flexible. And that's just the biggest thing with startups. You have to be flexible. You have to be able to adapt. when you have a roadblock, and in the last 2 months we've had a lot of those. Whenever you have a roadblock, you have to find out how do we navigate around that. How do we, how do we break through? We've had individuals who came in the very beginning, and like we had a photographer who wanted to get involved with us, and he actually is another family member of his was interested in marketing. So we met this individual through FM because we're trying to get we're initially looking to partner up with them and have an internship program with them. And they came in, they loved the idea, they want to get involved. But when we started to hit our first few roadblocks, they lost hope, and and that's.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So this entrepreneur mindset is something that is developed, and
it's a disease.
Yeah, I've actually heard that from a professor. Because once you get it, you can never go back.
Yeah.
But it's something that is developed over time,
Right.
So you want to talk about your story a little bit? How you talked about a little bit, but you have like a story that's like, so this is what made me into an entrepreneur.
Right. So again, like I said, when I started, I'm originally from Nigeria, right? So I'm from a place where we've always believed in doing things, thinking outside the box, doing things a little different, trying to make not just a name for yourself, but make something of yourself, rather than just doing it regular, right? So that is just something that's ingrained in me. So like I said, back in 2010, when I decided to move into this direction, to get into the business mindset, I came across a lot of robots. I had an idea. I felt like it was great for the market. I was naive. I was younger. So it was with My Trade Square. So essentially the social platform where we can actually, I don't necessarily have to buy and sell, but I can trade things. So for example, if I have an iPhone and I don't want an iPhone anymore, and I'm looking for I don't know, a Galaxy or whatever, and you had one. You had the Galaxy, we can actually talk about, okay, how do we go about exchanging? Maybe you prefer the iPhone, I prefer the Galaxy. And that's just a simple example. That could run into a lot of other things, whereby I might have a product that is worth $1,000. But I need a product from you that's only worth $500, and then we can negotiate something whereby you can give me another product just to to kind of balance out the value of what I'm willing to give up. So I felt like that. Again, this is 9 years ago. I feel like that concept was something that could take hold. The idea of community sharing, it's like me. It's no different from me giving a friend something and hoping to get something else in return.
Yeah, that's actually awesome because a lot of the platforms are just now
catching up to that mindset.
Exactly.
So you talk about like Uber, for example. The concept of Uber 9 years ago would have been hard.
Yeah, it would have been impossible. You're letting a stranger take your kids
right
to your house.
It would have been tough, but that was the idea of community sharing. And at the time, I was able to raise some money, personally from friends and family and whatnot. I had a website built, put in place, but the biggest problem was marketing. I was 9 years, I was younger. I made some mistakes from the marketing perspective, but I learned from it. Now, most people would have said, well, I tried, I'm done. For me, it was like, okay, that really didn't work out. What did I learn from those mistakes? So fast forward a few years later, when I had the lounge, we had a group of individuals who reached out to us who were also thinking about opening a gaming lounge. And every time they came to me to talk to me, ask questions or whatever, it wasn't that I wasn't interested in sharing, but I also understood that experience costs money. That's why you go to school, right? So when you go to college, what are you paying for? Essentially, what you're paying for is you're paying for other people's experience. You know what I'm saying? So if I learn, the guy, whoever figured out what 1 plus 1 was 2, figure out what 1 plus 1 was 2 years back. Over time, you pass that on to the next generation. Hey, 1 plus 1 is 2. So now you don't have to go figure out what 1 plus 1 is anymore. You can move on to what's 2 plus 2.
Exactly.
And then the next generation can move on to you learn from the past experience, and now you can try and figure out what's 3 plus 3. So on and so forth.
Very simple. Analogy,
that's a very simple analogy, but the point is when you go to school, what you pay for is the experience.
Figuring out a problem.
Exactly, right. So, and I explained that to them, like, the experience that you're looking to get from me, you have to understand it costs me money. They wanted to work with us. They had resources that I was interested in attaining, but they weren't willing to give up those resources. So eventually the business relations kind of fell apart because it was like the experience what I've learned that's cost me money to learn. You want that information so you don't make the same mistake. But in that case, what I'm asking you in return is to pay me with the resources that you have. It's kind of like, again, the idea of I can help you, you help me as well.
Business.
Exactly. Business. So moving from that again, the mistakes I got from giving from Elite Verse, I've taken that into what I'm doing right now. I learned from the past. Okay, I know what not to do, and it's made me. I would like to say it's made me a smarter businessman.
Awesome. You want to talk about any inspirations that people that you look up to, or maybe books or like resources?
I'm not really a reader.
I just like to ask this because it's like interesting. I have people that said that.
Yeah.
But
I'm not really a reader, but one of the people that I look up to in terms of entrepreneurship, guys like like the Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and that's one of the reasons why I say this, to people all the time. I have no interest in going public. Maybe in my mind that could change 5 years from now. Five years from now, the circumstances might force me to do that, or I have a different view. But right now is for me. I think for a young company, I think I need time to grow into the identity that I would like to see this organization, the identity and the direction I would like this organization to go before I would even entertain anything like that. And part of the reason why I look at like examples of Steve Jobs when he lost Apple, and the other individuals that inspire me. People sometimes I look into people's story, kind of do Google search and things like that. Like Morgan Freeman, the adversity he went through before he eventually became an actor, which was his dream. So I look at things like that, and I try to learn from people's mistake. And based off of that, I can say, okay, what can I get out of this? It's like when I watch a show. So when I watch a show, like for example, one of the shows I like, House of Cards, and I like it because it challenges. It's one of those shows that forces you to think outside the box. Mm-hmm. It challenges your. It's very complex. Like the complexity in the show, I actually like that. I like things like that. So those are shows that, believe it or not, sometimes I watch, and the things I can take away from those from the different episodes, the different scenarios that can apply from a business perspective. And there've been things like that. I can use the example of I don't know if you've ever seen the show Billions. No. It's a HBO show. Pretty good. You should definitely look that up. That's another show that I watch too. That it's like I enjoy. I enjoy watching it because again, it allows you to tap into your. I like shows that forces me to think, intellectual things that challenges my intellectual
think outside
mindset.
The box.
Yes, so things like that. I watch Shark Tank. That's another show that I watch. Not as often recently. I've been too busy.
Yeah, it's like a reality show now.
Yeah. But especially the first few episodes when it first came out, and I felt like it was really interesting, and the things that you can take away from shows like that. So
great. Any final advice you give to anyone that maybe not even thought about entrepreneurship, but maybe going into the field?
So the best advice I can give, entrepreneurship, it's not for everybody.
Yes. It's
not for everybody. And I tell people this, so I'm a military cop, and there are guys who say to me like, why don't you be a state trooper? It's like, it pays well. You're talking about 6 figures, after you're 5-6 years in as a state trooper. It pays well, but it's not for me. And I know that, and I accept that it's just not for me. It's not something that I would do. Yeah, I'm a military cop on the inside. From a military perspective, things are done a little differently versus dealing with, the public in general. It's two different worlds. And those are one things that, I get it. It's not. It's just, in life, you have to understand the things that are for you and the things that are not for you. Because if you're wasting time on the things that ideally doesn't go with your personality, doesn't go with who you are, those are things that you need to drop and move on. And entrepreneurship is the same thing. You have a lot of people. So just kind of tell you guys a little backstory. So we had individuals who were willing to work with us. They like the concept of esports. They want to get involved, right? They got involved, and it got to the point where we're willing to offer them equity, because they went above and beyond to a certain extent. Now I was being generous with what I was offering, but what they couldn't get past was the number figure in front of the percentage, and they couldn't understand that the value behind that figure doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. You could own 1% of a company, like for example, like Facebook. So Mark, a lot of the guys who worked with them in the very beginning, they helped them code over the summer. After the initial concept of Facebook went out, a lot of those guys would give them 1%, 1 point something percent, whatever, which was some of the people looked at it and said, that's nothing. This is garbage. I'm doing a lot of work for you. But now you fast forward 10 years later, That 1 point something percent is not what billions. You know, so you look back like 10 years ago, you tell me if Margaret offered me 1% and I'd taken it, I'll be a billionaire right now. You know, it's crazy. So these are the things that, like, you know, but not everybody's like that. So these individuals that can understand it, they can understand that. And the hard work, they're like, well, you own the majority of the company. Of course I do. This is my concept, it's my idea. I'm investing everything in it, my time, my money, my sweat and blood. You know, of course I'm going to own the majority. They couldn't get behind it and say, well, you should treat us like partners. Not really. You haven't earned, you haven't gotten there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, well, when are we going to get paid? It's like, I can't tell you that. You know, yes, there's an assumption that we'll make. We say, you know, in 2 years we're going to be profitable. In a year, or whatever it is, in X amount of time we believe we're going to be profitable. In X amount of time we believe we're going to be able to pay ourselves as employees. In X amount of time we believe we'll be able to pay ourselves as founding, you know, as owners, whatever the case is. But those things are all assumptions based on, yes, they're the intellectual guesses, but there's no guarantee behind it.
It's the risk. It's
just a risk. That's the reality of the situation. And they couldn't understand, and it's nothing against them. That's what I mean. Not everybody's an entrepreneur. To be an entrepreneur, you have to understand it's a disease. There's more failures than there is success. It's a tough road, and if you're not built for it, if you're not ready for it, stick with your day job.
Which is a fine advice for some
it
people.
It really is. It's not for. Yeah. I mean, so using my wife as an example, she's not a risk taker. If it was up to my wife, you know, I have a good job. You know, I have a job that pays well. You know, it was up to my wife to stick to, hey, we have a house, 2 vehicles, 2 kids. Let's work towards retirement, get a retirement, and live life. All right, enjoy retirement, call it a day. Unfortunately, that's not where I am. And I've said this to her several times. Like, you know, and I understand that's who you are, but I'm also very different. But over time, you know, over the years, she's come to understand that, you know, this is just who I am. It's a reality of words. She either accepts the reality or she doesn't. But that's a choice that she has to make. I accept who she is. She's not a risk taker. She'd rather just get a job, you know, work, get a decent pay, work towards retirement, and call it a day. There are people who are out there who are like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. If you're not willing to work the long hours, I'm on 14 hours right now, and I have to get up again early tomorrow. You know, if you're not willing to work the long hours, you're not willing to make the sacrifices, time, and to also understand that, you know, majority of the businesses that start almost all failed. You know, to some degree, if you're not willing to accept those things and say, hey, even the little success I enjoy, at the end of the day can amount to nothing. If you're not willing to accept that reality, then entrepreneurship is not for you. That's the best advice I can give.
Oh, that's great. That's definitely reality to the situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Again, this was Jide. And you want to give any shout outs or where people can find you or Gamer Insomniacs?
So Insomniacs.org. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. I think I got it all. Yeah.
Is that Gamer Insomniacs?
Yeah, Gamer Insomniacs. So if you go on the website, GamerInsomniacs.org, you can find pretty much all the contact info.
Awesome. And that's right here. That's how you spell it. Find them, follow them, and let's see what they're up to.